Yes, EFD squad, and welcome back to another episode of Euro Roundup with my partner in crime. It is the one and only Patrick van Straten. How are you, mate?
I'm alright, mate.
Fantastic. Well, let's dive straight in. It was an absolutely stunning weekend of football. We're going to go right in there with El Clasico. Pat, tell me a little about the game.
Well, it's the only place we can start. Barcelona leapfrogged Real Madrid in the table, though Los Blancos do have a game in hand, which they play in midweek, after a dramatic late win at the Bernabeu. Now, they've specialised in late goals this season, Barcelona. They've got 9 goals after the 90th minute, and Messi has grabbed 6 of them. He got 2 in this game, and both of them were absolutely sensational. That last gasp goal ended Real Madrid's unbeaten streak at home, which is 22 games long. And
I took my top off as well in the living room.
It was one of my favourite goal celebrations I've ever seen, and it means that manager Luis Enrique is only the second man in Barca history to win back-to-back games at the Bernabeu. The other man who did it, Pep Guardiola.
That's hella impressive.
Unbelievable stuff. Lionel Messi now has hit 500 goals. He's the all-time top goal scorer in El Clasico. It's pretty impressive stuff, needless to say. But I mean, Lionel Messi, what isn't impressive about him at this point? But the guy who you perhaps wouldn't expect to be in the conversation for man of the match is Marc-Andre ter Stegen. He made 12 saves in this match, and he needed to be in fine form, as Real had 5 more shots on target than Barca. So it was just as well that he brought his A game.
Yeah, it was. And one of those shots on target, my friend, was Casemiro, who opened the scoring in a dream start after about half an hour for Los Blancos. But Messi and Rakitic replied either side of half-time to put the Blaugrana ahead. Rakitic was superb on the night as well. I mean, he's come under some criticism this season, hasn't he? But let's have a look at his stats here. He completed 100% of his take-ons, 96% pass accuracy, completed 48 passes on the night, 6 crosses from that central position, 3 chances created and 1 absolute left-footed banger. The way he just shifted it on the edge of the box, I thought this is flying straight in, and it did. So well done to the Croatian. Then obviously substitute James Rodriguez sets up a tense finale. And despite his limited minutes, that goal, Pato, now means he's been involved in 70 goals in 105 games for Real Madrid.
Oh my God.
This is a guy who, whenever he's given the chance, takes it and then is still benched the game after. So who knows, maybe he'll get a bit of a closer look during the run-in. I think they're playing Real Sociedad next in the week. But yeah, he was assisted by Marcelo, who now has 9 assists for the season.
Wow.
This is a left-back. That is a European high. It's a league high, it's a European high. Yes, and after that result, Real Madrid, as we said, find themselves in second, but maybe more importantly, they are 2 players down, 2 key players down. Bale had to go off with that recurring injury, and Sergio Ramos with that outrageous tackle on Messi. Someone who we regard as a big game player is now going to be missing for 2 games. He actually failed to make a tackle or an interception before being subbed off in the 77th minute.
Whoa.
How many games has he missed? 2? 3?
2 or 3, but it's going to be rough for them to come back from that. He does so much for them defensively, but at least he'll be back for the Champions League games. What do you think? Are Real Madrid going to win the double this season, or will they end the season with nothing at all? Let us know in the comments below. Our first losers of the weekend are Tottenham Hotspur, who lost a very exciting FA Cup semi-final 4-2 against Chelsea.
Yes, it was very exciting, Pato. You are correct. And despite the Blues starting Eden Hazard and Diego Costa on the bench, they actually took the lead twice. That Willian free kick. Do you think Lloris should have done better?
Possibly.
Possibly. And that penalty, which was definitely a penalty. Outrageous tackle. But they were pegged back, weren't they, by Spurs. Harry Kane with that deft header. What a bit of improvisation there. Absolutely genius. And Dele Alli taking that ball from Eriksen, that lovely ball from Eriksen, down on the half volley. The anticipation there was incredible. Harry Kane, this was his 26th goal of the season, and Dele Alli his 20th. Their combined age is 44.
Unbelievable. 44.
When 46, they've got more goals than their combined age, for crying out loud. But it was not enough. Ali has doubled his goal tally from last year. Kane now has 21 in 24, and he's played against London teams, so they were banging form. It's just a shame that the game didn't pan out in their favour. Now, people are already peddling the narrative that Spurs bottled the game, but that's not necessarily how the game panned out, in our eyes at least anyway. Now, Chelsea had 8 shots. Spurs actually had 13. And Chelsea scored with 4 of their 5 shots on target. Plus, they scored their goals from 3 great hits and a penalty, rather than Spurs making defensive mistakes. I actually think they dominated for large parts of the first and second half, Pato. What was it like in your view?
Well, I agree with that as well. I think Spurs were perhaps a little bit unlucky to lose this game by a 2-goal margin. And we don't tend to see Spurs concede 4 goals. That's been a very rare sight in the Pochettino era. But Spurs have now lost 7 FA Cup semis in a row, which is the longest such run in the competition's history. They've also lost 7 games at the new Wembley Stadium, which is more than any other team, though you do have to factor into that the fact that they played their Champions League games there this season. Now, for me, I know that all the focus has been on Dele Alli and Harry Kane, but I actually think Christian Eriksen has been far and away Spurs' best player this season.
Really?
He's been absolutely sensational. He got another 2 assists in this game. That brings him to 20 for the campaign. That's more than any other player in Europe's top 5 leagues has managed. 20 assists. What a man. He's been absolutely phenomenal. And the ball for Ali's goal, it's not just lovely, it's incredible. It's so good.
Such a genius.
Now, next up, they've got a trip to Crystal Palace, which is actually potentially something they don't want to see. Palace have obviously beaten Chelsea, beaten Arsenal and Liverpool in consecutive weeks, so it'll be interesting to see how that one goes. But Spurs, you're out of the FA Cup. Can you make a dent in the title race? What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below.
Next up is a quick shout out to Frenchman Anthony Martial, Manchester United's forgotten man this season, Pato, but he brought home the bacon against Burnley, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He was great in this game, and they needed him to be. He had 100% shot accuracy, admittedly with only 2 shots. 4 take-ons completed, 2 chances created, and 1 goal and 1 assist. Now, of course, they lacked cutting edge the last time they played Burnley. It took them 43 shots this season across the 2 games to get their first goal against the Clarets. And it was Martial who got it, his 25th for the club, and that triggers an automatic £8.5 million payment to Monaco. So it's been a great week for them all round. Jose Mourinho said, Martial showed attitude and appetite. We're pleased that we have a new player until the end of the season. Somebody should let him know that he's been there all along. Anyway, Man United, their defensive record this season, still very good as well. They kept a clean sheet in this game. Fewest goals conceded away from home in the Premier League this season. Man United have only conceded 13. Spurs are the next best on 14. Chelsea on 16. Very, very good stuff.
Yeah, and they needed him, didn't they? As Zlatan has scored 44%, scored or assisted, that is, 44% of Manchester United's league goals this campaign, and will obviously miss 8 to 9 months, is it? With that double ligament rupture. So he's going to be important in the running, is Anthony Martial. He now has 30 goals and assists in the Premier League for Manchester United since signing. That's 0.73 contribution to a goal per game. That is mental, mate. To give you some idea of how good that is, Pato, Pedro this season is averaging 0.67 and he's having his best season by far and away in the last 3 or 4 years, isn't he? Yeah. Anyway, Manchester United are now unbeaten in 23 Premier League games. They've won 13 and drawn 10. The longest unbeaten run since Manchester United in 2010-2011, when they also went 24 unbeaten. And with Liverpool losing and Arsenal all over the place, very erratic are Wenger's boys, the top 4. They're closing in on it, aren't they, mate? Could it happen? Could it happen? Let us know in the poll just above.
Our next losers are Napoli. What happened to them, Hamill?
Well, they drew 2-2 away at Sassuolo, probably my favourite named team in Serie A. Just behind Sporting Gijón in La Liga. But yeah, they're almost now guaranteed to finish third behind Juve and Roma. Roma obviously having a point and a game in hand. Now, the usual Napoli battering, they had 20 shots to Sassuolo's 8, 6 on target to Sassuolo's 4. Failed to deliver the goods in this particular game. There were bright spots though. Callejon became the first Serie A player to reach double figures for both goals and assists, so a big well done to him. And Dries Mertens hit 22 goals for the season. That's more than he's managed in the previous 3 seasons, or the same, one of those. I think it's the same actually. But yeah, Lorenzo Insigne has also rejected interest from around Europe, signing a new contract with Napoli. The little donkeys, it's been a mixed bag for them, but you know, they would have taken this at the start of the season, wouldn't they?
Well, yeah, that's all at the front end though, and actually I kind of think the problem's been in the defence. They've scored 77 goals in Serie A this season, which is more than any other team, but yet they still have an inferior goal difference to Juve and Roma. Now, the reason for that is that Napoli have conceded 1.06 goals per game, which doesn't sound that terrible. But then you see that Roma have conceded 0.84 goals a game. Juve, 0.61 goals a game. It's really, really unfortunate for them that they can't really get it together at that back end. And when you think that they might lose Kalidou Koulibaly in the summer as well, then you start to wonder about what's going to happen to Sarri's defence. Draws have cost them as well this season. They've only lost 4 times, which is the joint best in the league, along with Juve. But they've drawn 8, while their 2 title rivals have drawn 5 combined. So that's where they're dropping their points.
To United.
Yeah, very similar to United. But they face Inter Milan away next week, who of course had a bad result this weekend as well. They're 7 points ahead of Lazio in 4th, so it seems that they're pretty safe in that 3rd place. But drop a few more points and it could very quickly become a race.
Our final winners this week, Pato, takes us to the Bundesliga, yeah? Where Werder Bremen and Max Kruse came out on top. Go for it, big man.
Yeah, Bremen beat Ingolstadt 4-2 away from home. 4 goals Max Kruse netted. Unbelievable stuff. He's now got 13 goals and 4 assists in 19 Bundesliga appearances. It's his best season ever. Now, going into the final 10 minutes of this game, Bremen were actually 2-1 down. But in the 81st, 87th and 93rd minute, Kruse netted every time, helped by some terrible goalkeeping, to steal the points. Now, while Bremen shaded possession, they were actually outshot by Ingolstadt, who had 15 shots to Bremen's 9. But Kruse scored 4 of the 6 shots he had to take the points away.
That is absolutely mental. This is a Werder Bremen side who are in a relegation scrap for the first 30 match days. It's absolutely mental. They're now in contention for Europe, having conceded 51 goals, Pato.
Jesus.
That is the 5th worst in the league. They're now on 42 points, only 4 behind 5th place Hertha, who 2 months ago we were talking about having a very good season, and 6th place would be good enough to secure them a Europa League spot, although they'd have to go through qualifiers. Right, guys, how has Alexander Nuri, the German-Iranian coach, turned things around? Bundesliga fans, we want to know about their meteoric rise in the comments below. Is it all Kruse? Is there any other players we should be looking out for? Let us know in the comments below.
Our final losers of the week are AC Milan. What happened to Vincenzo Montella's men?
Pato, mamma mia. The Rossinieri's patchy form continues. Montella, what are you doing? They lost 2-1 at home to lowly 17th placed Empoli, Pato. This is an Empoli side who've only scored 22 goals in the league.
Oh my God.
That is 9 fewer than bottom place Pescara. That is mental. Anyway, yeah, AC Milan did create 28 shots, 12 on target. Suso missed a penalty and substitute Ocampos hit the bar, so they were unlucky, yes. Unlucky and ineffective. Suso had 9 shots. 9 shots on the night, extremely wasteful in good positions. The only redeemable stat I could find in this game for any AC Milan player, Pato, was Deulofeu, who completed 4 dribbles, which was a game high. He played okay on that left wing in that 4-3-3. What did you make of it? I know we didn't watch much of it, but yeah.
Well, after 67 minutes, Milan were down despite everything that they'd done. It was unbelievable. I mean, Massimo Maccarone, who just refuses to die. He's 37 years old. Incredible stuff. He's a mythical figure at this point. He grabbed an assist for the second. What a man. And Skorupski is really the man of the match. He's the Empoli goalkeeper. He made 11 saves. He only let Lapadula's effort through in the 72nd minute. What a man. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you create 12 shots on target and you come up against a man mountain, and that's what happened here. Empoli are now 5 points ahead of Crotone in 17th, while AC are stuck on 58 points. That's 5 behind high-flying Atalanta. Montella, I have no idea if he's doing a good job at this point, so guys, we're going to have to rely on you. As with Alexander Nuri, give us your wisdom in the comments below.
Right guys, that is it. We're actually in a bit of a rush because we have something special coming for you next week, don't we, Pato? We're interviewing Guillaume Balagué for Continental Club, so be sure to check that out. It will be coming soonish.
But for right now, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to check out this week's Stat Wars. Guess what? Somebody returns to form. And that somebody is me.
I think I just maintain bad form.
That's also true. Yeah, you are very consistent.
As ever, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Catch
See
you
you
next
guys.
time.